Hello. Welcome back to the Create Eudaimonia podcast. My name is Christina Angelos, and I'm a professional artist, philosopher, and life happiness mentor. And I'm here to inspire you guys and enlighten you on how I'm creating spiritual freedom in my life, aka eudaimonia. And hopefully, what I'm doing will inspire you to also start making little conscious tweaks and changes and perfections to your everyday so that you can create eudaimonia in your life as well. Okay, so for today's episode, we are talking about the foundation to creating a life of sustained happiness, which is a feeling that is inside of yourself, because happiness is not something that's circumstantial. Happiness is not just like, my paycheck came today and now I'm happy, or my husband brought me flowers and now I'm happy, but then it like goes away, right? Like that's like what we think of as circumstantial happiness, of like these moments or external things that are outside of us that validate our happiness. But eudaimonia is really focusing on the inner work and creating sustained joy within your spirits, within your own soul, within your own heart. And so it's really a practice of looking inward and focusing on your own mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, mental health, and creating this life that you truly love. And you're creating this reality for yourself that brings you sustained joy no matter what's happening outside of yourself, because the joy radiates from within your own body. And so this practice obviously takes work and time and love and daily conscious efforts. And that's why discipline is the foundation to creating this inner spiritual freedom. And so today we're going to be talking about the discipline that you need for your body. Last episode, we talked about the discipline of the mind and controlling your thoughts, and how our thoughts truly determine our reality, and how our thoughts literally are the first catalyst to start your journey. Is like first acknowledging you want to change and then start making small changes through your thoughts, and really like being able to shift your thoughts to make them better and to alter your reality through your thoughts. So if you want more about how to work on your mindset and mental discipline, make sure to go watch that last episode. But today we're going to be talking about the physical, the body. And so our bodies are so important in this spiritual journey to creating physical, emotional freedom and joy and love and peace within our whole life, because our body is the vessel for our soul, our spirit, our nous, the thing, our psyche, right? Like the body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. And so we need to take care of our physical body in order to take care of our minds and our souls. And so the body is so important, because if the body is not functioning correctly, then your mind is not functioning correctly, and then your gut is not functioning correctly, and then your heart is not functioning correctly. And so our body is very complex and emotional, and there's so many layers to it. But the nervous system in our bodies is running on autopilot most of the day and most of our life, right? Our hearts are beating without us thinking about it. Our lungs are breathing air in and out without us thinking about it. It's just like these automatic movements that our body just does by itself to keep us alive. And this is like the part of our body that's like completely on autopilot. And our nervous system is on autopilot as well. And so if we're not conscious about how we're treating our nervous system, our nervous system really determines our happiness and what we're feeling inside of our bodies. And being aware of what your body is experiencing internally is really like important to know and to be conscious of in order to create a life of peace and joy. You have to create the foundations for peace and joy to exist within your physical body. And so our body is like, part of our body is the subconscious mind, And I like to think of like the subconscious mind basically as like your heart and your gut and like your physical body, because your body is its own brain. And the subconscious really is your entire nervous system. And I feel like your subconscious is also runs through your hands, runs through your toes, through your legs. Your subconscious mind is your nervous system, because your nervous system holds memories, it holds moments, it holds stress, it holds trauma, it holds positive experiences too. Like when you experience the ocean in Greece, like you can remember your legs, your hands, like you can remember the sensations and the feeling of the water around and in and out of your body, because your body is a brain in itself. We obviously have the actual organ of the brain that allows us to see and perceive the world and see and speak. Like our brain is doing the logical, experiencing and processing the logical reality, but our body is experiencing the world through our senses, through touch and smell and taste and touch. And so our nervous system has a memory, has like a bank of its own. And so it's really, really important that we create an environment to harvest creativity and peace and calmness within our nervous system, within all of the little veins, within every single part of ourselves. And so to do that, first of all, the first thing is nourishing your body properly and nourishing your body well with whole nutritious foods, and really nourishing your body with lots of different colorful foods, vegetables, whole foods. And a big part of this, obviously, I mean, it sounds so simple. You just eat like good, colorful, whole foods, right? In America, it's like not that simple. And it's kind of crazy that our society has gotten so like insane that you can't even like eat vegetables on a daily basis. It's just like not as accessible and not as promoted. I don't even know. Like the way that our culture functions in America, at least, is we are constantly in like this fight or flight, go, 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 stressy, 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 work, 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 that we think of growing our own food and buying produce and cutting up the produce and cooking the produce and making a recipe. Like that whole process of buying the produce and cooking it and eating it, it's like it takes time and it takes patience, it takes like effort. It takes effort to prepare food. And our relationship with food has been so sacred, you know, like every generation before us has had to grow their own food and make and prepare their own food. And there was such a deep appreciation for each and every vegetable that they consumed because they grew it. And so now, you know, in our society, I was just cutting like an avocado yesterday, and I was like, just quickly like trying to cut it as quick as I can to shove it in my mouth. And I was like, oh my God, like, am I actually taking a moment to think about like where this avocado came from, the tree that it grew on, like the amount of water and energy and resources it took for that one avocado to grow on this tree, like, and the fact that I'm able to just run into Whole Foods and buy it really fast and then like eat it really fast. It's like everything is like so fast paced in our lives, where it's up to us to really slow down and be intentional about, you know, what we're purchasing, how we're preparing it with intentionality, with like even blessing the food before we consume it, to just like thank God for the food that's in front of us. You know, it's such a luxury that, you know, we might take for granted, but some people in other parts of the world, you know, might not have access to amazing foods like we do. And so just like practicing gratitude while you're eating and like being mindful and like respecting the process of how the food got to you is really important, because all of that plays into how it's nourishing each and every cell within our body. Because again, like our brains and our bodies are working together. So it's like when our brain is thinking like, yes, this food is grown, it is going to nourish me, and we like are absorbing those nourishing thoughts then like allows us to actually like absorb more from that food and like take in those nutrients on a deeper level. I think a lot of it too is like psychological and I don't know, very spiritual, and we can get in more to it later, but basically you need to eat whole nutritious foods because it nourishes your body. And on another note too, not nourishing your body enough can also lead to stress, because when you don't eat enough, and I see this happen in people who are fat and in people who are skinny and people who are kind of like in between, but I feel like everyone's always like back and forth about weights and am I too fat, am I too skinny, oh this person's too skinny, they must not be eating, or this person's too fat, they must be eating too much. And then it's like this weird diet culture in America. I don't even know, it's really confusing. Everyone's like either fat or skinny. It's just like, I don't know. Anyways, but my whole point about this is like it's because of our psychological relationship with the food. We think like by eating the food, we will look a certain way. And so sometimes we purposefully avoid nourishing our bodies in order to look a certain way on the outside. But in reality, you're not nourishing yourself and you're not nourishing your cells. And what happens is you're telling your nervous system, aka your subconscious mind, you're telling your subconscious mind, your nervous system, your body that's running on autopilot, you're telling it that you are starving. And so as like a primal animal, you know, like our bodies are, you know, running on autopilot, kind of like animals, you become scared and your body like thinks that it's starving. And so you go into this primal like fight or flight mode and your cortisol spikes. And what happens when your cortisol spikes is you get stressed, you get anxious, your thoughts start to race, which plays into your mental health and your emotional health. You know, your hormones, if you're a woman, your hormones are all over the board and you're wondering why you're crying or, you know, upset or acting one way 1 minute and the other way the next minute. It's because your body is not stabilized. Your body is in like turmoil. Your body thinks it's starving. And so even to anyone, and I see this happen, not even with people who are on diets, when people just like want to lose weight, you know, my God, fat, skinny, doesn't matter. People will literally starve themselves for a period and be like, I'm helping myself. But in reality, you're just making your body in fear and scaring yourself. And you're producing more cortisol because your body thinks it's starving. Okay, so common sense. Nourishing your body and eating whole foods. Like eating this morning, I had salmon from Costco. It's like the smoked salmon that they sell at Costco. It's like literally prepackaged. You don't even have to cook it. Salmon from Costco. And then I had an avocado, which I appreciated. Like I said, I appreciated my avocado. When I cut it, I was like, love you, avocado. And then I also got some Greek olives from Sparta, we get them imported from like a family friend, so they're like amazing Greek olives. Let me know, comment if you want me to send you the website. And then what else? Olives, I had apricots, and then I also did pickled red beets, because beets are like a superfood. Avocados are a superfood. You know, the more colors you can eat on your plate, and again, the beets too, didn't have to cook them, they were in a jar. I literally bought them at Pete's Fresh Market in the jarred food section. And it's like when I'm ready to eat breakfast, I don't even have to like think about it that much or prepare or like spend a lot of time cooking, because everything's already kind of prepared. You know, the salmon's prepared, the beets are prepared, the avocado's prepared. It's just kind of like this quick and easy breakfast. Literally takes like 2 minutes. And so that's the other thing. It's like making your life simpler, like making your meals simple but nutritious is like one of those things that I've been personally practicing, and it totally helps. It helps so much because right now I'm sitting and talking to you guys and my body is nourished. I feel super calm in my body, but I also feel super light and like energized. I feel like the food that I just ate completely nourished me and gave me like a burst of inspiration and like energy to come on here and talk to you guys. And so that's the other thing, and the beauty of eating clean and eating good, colorful foods is it gives you energy to do the things that you love. It gives you energy to paint. It gives you energy to maybe work on that creative project. It gives you energy to start the blog or to start posting your travel photos, or just start sharing your stories, whatever it is. And honestly, it's like so fun to like have the energy after work or before work, get up early, you know, work on your passion after work. It gives you so much more life and fulfillment and joy, because honestly, eudaimonia is not like about just happiness. It's about having purpose and fulfillment in your life, and having like a very strong moral compass and a sense of like direction, and like, you know, that you're doing something in this lifetime that's going to bring meaning to yourself and impact the lives of others around you. And so by sharing your art, by sharing your writing, by sharing your photography, by sharing, you know, your voice, your perspective, your experiences, maybe even sharing like your hardships, things that you've been through, your struggles that you overcame, and how you got over it, and how you know, achieved your success, whatever that may look like your story can seriously impact and help someone, even if it's just one person. And so that's like the really important thing about creating eudaimonia, is like having the energy to pursue your purpose in life and to do what you're meant to do on this earth. And so it starts with your mind, and it continues with your body and nourishing your body. And it's like, you have to have momentum, you have to have the energy behind the passion in order to do it, right? Because on the flip side, let me just give you this other flip side reality. It's like, if you are working all day, you're eating Chick-fil-A, or you're eating McDonald's. I don't even know. People are going to be like, oh, they're getting cleaner and healthier. And I don't buy any of that. I don't think it's true. You know, fast food is fast food. Processed food is processed food, period. You know, it's like, you got to just figure out a way to eat from a garden, something that is homegrown and cooking. But anyways, I don't want to digress. But the point is like, the alternate reality is fast food for lunch, going through the drive-through at lunch. You know, after eating at the drive-through, it's like your body gets in a slump and you're tired. Like you have like this heavy feeling in your stomach, and you feel like tired and groggy, and you're almost like drunk. You know, I recently did a food sensitivity test, and I realized that I was extremely sensitive to gluten and sensitive to rice and eggs. I was eating eggs like all the time. I didn't even know I was sensitive to eggs, and I'm highly sensitive to eggs. And so I was eating eggs and rice and, you know, some other gluten stuff, not like processed gluten, but I was eating like imported Greek gluten. Long story again. We could talk about gluten another day. But I was eating these things, and after I ate them, I literally would feel like my face gets swollen. Like, I'm so sensitive, and I like am in tune with my body. So like when I would eat like gluten, for example, my face would get swollen. I would feel like texture, like bumps on my skin coming. And then I would also feel extremely tired. Like I would want to take a nap, and I would feel like drunk, literally, because my body could not process those foods, and it was not giving me energy. It was bogging me down. It was giving me brain fog and making me feel extremely like lethargic and tired. And that is not how I want to live my life. And so this is kind of why I'm talking to you guys about this today, because I think it's so important to really pay attention and take care of your physical body, and make sure that you do these diagnoses and these tests in this test for this food sensitivities. But you can do it like any natural doctor or any chiropractor. Just do some research in your area, wherever you are, and find someone that does this food sensitivity test, and see what you're sensitive to, and try to cut and eliminate those foods out of your diet, and just see what happens to your energy. But yeah, it's like, if you're eating fast food, you're tired, you don't have energy, and then you're like watching Netflix, you're probably staying up late, you're probably not sleeping good. And oh my God, we can have a whole separate episode on just like the neuroscience behind sleeping. Like, another big problem I see with like my friends and even my sisters and close family is like, they're not sleeping, and then they're wondering why they're like all this stuff, their life isn't like this or that or whatever. And it's like, you're not even giving your brain a chance to recover overnight. Like, you need enough sleep in order for your body to do its natural processes, in order for your brain to make new neural connections, in order for like you to process things, for your nervous system to relax, There's so many things that happen in our bodies while we're sleeping. And so if you're staying up late, you're eating like crap, you're watching Netflix till midnight, you're waking up right when your alarm goes off just so you can like run out the door and get your clothes on and run to work, like that is not living. That is like sad. That's not living. That's like you're literally just like going through the motions, and like your whole life is gonna pass you by. And it's like, what are you gonna say that you did with your life? You rolled out of bed and went to work, did a job you didn't like, and then continued the cycle and watched Netflix, and you could talk about TV shows in conversation, and that's literally it. And you're not interesting at all to be around. Just being honest. But yeah, it's like, it's not a life of fulfillment. That's not sustainable. It's not, there's no passion. There's no love. There's no joy. There's no real joy. Again, it's like the joy is just like circumstantial. Oh, it's someone's birthday. I'm happy. Woo. Okay, now I'm like back to my life and I'm depressed. And it's like, that's not the goal. That's not the goal. The goal is to create like a good foundation for yourself to be able to build and create value and to create meaning and to create like beauty in the world and to share your talents with the world. And so the passion comes in the mornings. You know, I think there is some truth to waking up early and like working on your goals, you know, from the hours of like 5 to 7, and like having those hours before people start texting you, before you're obligated to work, before anything. You're focused in that deep focused works flow, which, you know, we could talk about in another podcast episode more deeply about the importance of focused work. And then later at night, after you get home, you know, it's like you have that other chunk of time for focused work. And then even on your lunch break, I remember when I was teaching, I would literally do my work. My whole lunch break, I would so passionate. I didn't even care to take a break because I just wanted to work on my art business and my website and make art and draw. And I would draw and make art and do so much during my lunch breaks while I was teaching. I would get all my work done. I would, you know, grade everything, and then I would make sure that I would spend time focusing on myself and my own goals and my own passion within myself, you know? So yeah, eating good, it starts with, you know, taking care of your body, eating good, nourishing your mind with good whole foods, you know, sleeping well, so that way you have the rest and the nourishment to pursue your passions. Okay, so we will probably talk about food again in another episode. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions about nutrition and food and your nervous system and the subconscious. If you're interested in knowing and learning more about the subconscious mind, please read the book by, I'm gonna space now, but it's called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I remembered Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he is an amazing neuroscience that talks all about the subconscious mind and the power of the subconscious mind, the power of our thoughts, the power of our bodies and our nervous systems and the connections and all that cool stuff that I was talking about. I learned all of that from Dr. Joe Dispenza. So go binge his podcast, go binge, you know, all of his works. They're really, really amazing. You could go down a whole rabbit hole with that. But anyways, besides food and sleep, another part of taking care of your body is through movement. And so movement is obviously going for walks or exercising, but movement is so important because we need to keep our bodies strong. But yeah, movement is so important because when we are moving our bodies, we are gaining strength and we're actually creating endorphins within our mind and within our body. And these endorphins are hormones that stimulate dopamine and happiness. And so when we move our body, we are happy. When you are dancing and singing and like running around and jumping and skipping and, you know, doing all these fun things, having sex, like all of this stuff, like all those different types of movement bring out endorphins in our body and makes us happier. So there is a lot of neuroscience obviously behind this statement. So do your own research, but seriously, moving your body is literally a hack, biohack to creating happiness and joy within yourself. And so if you need like to get out of a rut, or maybe like you feel stuck, or you feel stagnant, or you feel like your thoughts are anxious, or you don't know, like you're like, what is wrong with me? Like, why do I feel like sad? Or why do I feel like, like I'm in a mood, I guarantee you, if you're feeling like you're in a mood, or you're overwhelmed, or you're stressed, or you're stuck, or you're feeling, stagnant, or you're blocked, whatever word you want to use, like whatever, like, I know we all get like that, where we're like, oh, like I don't even know what to do right now. It's like the best piece of advice I can give you is to go for a walk outside. And the other key there is outside. And so movement in nature is the best type of movement, because you are inhaling the fresh oxygen air, because our body needs oxygen, our brain needs oxygen in order to function at its highest capacity. And so another thing I've noticed is, like, I've talked to people and it's like they spend so much time inside, indoors. Even in the winter in Chicago, it's really difficult to get outside because it's so cold. But being inside for that many hours is really not good for your mental, emotional, spiritual health, because your brain needs oxygen, your eyes need sunlight for your circadian rhythm to be going properly. The circadian rhythm is like your sleep and waking cycle. So like when you wake up, you have energy. When the sun comes up, when you go to bed, the sun goes down, your energy gets lower, and then you sleep, and then you wake up, and like the sun comes out and you have energy again. That's your circadian rhythm. And so it's like seeing the sunlight, it wakes you up. It like tells your body and gives you like a good amount of like good cortisol, like good stress hormones that are like, that'll keep you motivated and excited to do what you want to do in your day, to garden, to paint, to do whatever, to cook, to go grocery shopping. The sun gives you that energy. It signals to your eyes and to your brain that it is time to wake up. It is time to go to work. It is time to make something great. And so you need to be on that cycle. And that's why being outside and getting morning sunlight in the morning is so important, and getting oxygen and just being outside is so, so, so helpful. And moving, I like to go on walks in the forest preserve too, personally, because and I will literally drive myself some days, or I'm fortunate enough where I can walk to the forest preserve. So I'll literally go to the forest preserve and go for nice long walks. And it's like forest bathing. It's like a new word I just found on the internet. It's like forest bathing, which is like you're surrounding yourself with trees and forestry and greenery. And it just like elevates your spirits. It brings you closer to God, I think, because it's like when you're walking and it's like you're in that solitude, you're by yourself, you're able to look up at the branches on the trees and admire the flowers, and look at the dirt beneath you and the little rocks and like the streams and the water that flows and all of this beauty. You're literally like bathed in inspiration and bathed in beauty, and it brings out this like sense of admiration and bliss and awe. And it's just so like uplifting and inspiring. And then you really do feel like, wow, like there must have had to been this wondrous creator that created all of this beauty. And it just brings you to this place of pure gratitude for being able to experience this reality. And it's just, being in nature is so powerful. And, if you're ever in a rut, I highly recommend going on a walk, going outside, being in nature, being alone, on a walk, in the trees, talking to God, thanking God for the creation, really observing too. When I go on walks, I love to really look closely and test my eyes. I feel like, oh my God, this is like so embarrassing to admit, but I feel like I'm like on my phone so much lately, where it's like my eyes get kind of like near and far-sighted, and it's like I know I have good vision, but I try to really zoom into like a little flower that I see, or a little like rock, or a little like section of dirt or something, or like the veins on a leaf, like something really microscopic almost. And I'll kind of like test my eyes. I feel like I have to do like one of these, like in a binocular, where I'm like, okay, eyes, like adjust, adjust to see. But that's a big part of being an artist and seeing the world and loving the world, is like seeing the world and admiring the littlest things. And so like on my walks, I will like test my eyes and be like, can you see this little detail? And it's just like, again, like paying attention to your physical body, like your eyes, and being grateful for like your sight that you can see, and your ears that can hear, and your mouth that can speak. All of these things that we take for granted, it's like just reminds us like, wow, like my eyes are seeing, my brain is perceiving, my body is feeling. And that's just like such a beautiful part of the human experience. And taking little moments like that on a daily basis and being conscious to admire the world around you is really, really, really important and really special. And going off of that point, the next thing I will say about your physical body is the world around you, the physical world around you, and your environments that you surround yourself in, and your physical spaces that you live in. Because our physical spaces are a reflection of our internal mind. So whatever your space is, if your space is clean and peaceful and minimal and quiet and serene, then your mind will be peaceful and quiet and serene. If your environment has, a million like stacks of papers here, and like another stack of clutter there, and there's this and there's this and there's all this random stuff, right? There's like all this random stuff. When you look around, it's like very overstimulating and it's very overwhelming. And then in your mind gets cluttered, and your mind is like, oh my God, I gotta do this and this and this and this and this. And you're not able to really focus on what's important, because you're scattered, because your physical environment is scattered. And so the last thing I want to leave you guys with for this episode is to take care of your physical space. Because by taking care of your physical space, you take care of your physical body, because your body exists within that space. And so what I like to do is every morning I do a clean. And so I will clean the couches, or clean the sink if anything was like left after dinner. I do the dishes after dinner and like put things away, but sometimes like we have snacks, so like whatever, I'll put like the nighttime snacks and like dishes like away, make sure the tables or the counters are wiped, make sure the laundry I do load. I make sure like if there was stuff left behind from the day before on the kitchen table, I'll kind of like clean it up. So in my morning I have like a quick cleanup routine. And then at night, I have another cleanup routine where I like do the floors really quick. I sweep, and then I'll like wipe the table and like make sure like the tables are clear. I feel like with the house, it's always kind of evolving and shifting and moving, like when you have multiple people living in your house. And so having these moments where you're intentionally telling yourself, I am tidying up my environment, I'm putting my dishes away, I'm washing my dishes, I'm doing the laundry, I'm folding the laundry, I'm putting the laundry away. Like these little moments within our day really, really, really create that feeling of peace inside of us. Because when we do the chores, we put it away, and I always make it quick too. I don't drag it out, because I obviously like would rather be making art and talking to you guys and having fun and like, gardening or doing literally anything else but, tidying. But I know that by tidying up, I am creating the mental and physical space for myself to prosper and to be at peace and to feel relaxed and to be my most elevated, most productive version of myself, honestly. Because I'm like, if my space is clean, I feel like I am clean and ready and like inspired to create something new. especially in my art studio. If you're an artist out there watching this and you have an art studio of your own, I see you, because us artists, we're very like type B and we leave things here and there. It's hard for us to be like organized. And so you kind of have to force the organization. You have to force yourself to have a home for every single object that exists in your house. And that piece of advice is for everyone, not just artists. Anyone, no matter what. You have to have a home for every single object that's in your house. You have a little zip tie, goes in the little drawer, in the little compartment where the zip ties go. If you have a gift, I know like I like to keep like ribbons and like random things. I have a separate drawer in my dining room that's specifically for like gifting items like tissue papers or cards or ribbons. I literally have a bag where I put old ribbons. Maybe that sounds like I'm a hoarder, but like I promise I'm not. But I like to reuse things and not take things for granted and make sure I'm keeping them, but also not like random. They're not just like, I don't have random ribbons like in a random drawer or like around my house. Like they have a home. They have a drawer, they have a place to live. Anytime I get a new ribbon, it goes and joins its brothers and sisters in the ribbon drawer, in the ribbon bag, and it has a home. And so same thing with my studio. My paints, they have a home. Every paint that I have that comes in, they have a space. Every water cup has a space. Every, basket, I like to use these little baskets to organize things. I have a cart with all my art supplies. And every time I'm in my studio, I try to clean off my desk so that way my next studio session, my desk is clean. I feel re-inspired to create, and I don't feel like I have to, it's like when there's too much going on, it becomes like chaotic and cluttery, and then you're not able to focus. So going back to like the focus work, in order to be focused, you have to have the environment to create that focus. And so that's why having a space, and especially if you're working from home, creating an environment that brings peace and serenity and focus and not distractions like looking here and there is really, really, really important. So that is all for today's episode. Tomorrow or next week, every week, we're coming out with an episode every Thursday. So next week, we're going to be talking about the discipline of the soul. So we talked about discipline of the mind. Today was a deep dive into the discipline of the body. And then next week, we're going to talk about discipline of the soul. So getting spiritual with you guys. I can't wait for next week's episode. And if you guys want to learn how to create eudaimonia in your own life, the Create Eudaimonia membership is going to be opening very soon. I know last time I said it was opened already, but it's not open yet. So if you're watching this, it actually might be open when you're watching this, but it's going to be opening soon. And when you enroll, you're going to be guided every single day for 45 days and beyond, but every day for 45 days, you're going to be guided to create works of art that inspire you, that bring you peace, that bring you joy. Art is a tool to create happiness. Art is a tool to bring your mind closer to God, to bring your mind closer to yourself, to analyze your thoughts, to take the time to nourish your body, to be able to channel that subconscious mind energy and those memories that are stored within your nervous system, stored within your body. You're allowing that memory and those emotions stored within your nervous system to be expressed and spoken through lines and shapes and colors. And so that's what you are learning inside of the membership. That's what you're learning inside of the Abstract Art Academy, the 45-day course that you will get access to when you sign up for the Create Eudaimonia membership. So you get access to the full course. It's 45 days of learning and growing and practicing. And it's this daily habitual practice that gets you to where you want to go. It's not jumping and doing a million things overnight, but it's that small, steady, peaceful, not overwhelming, very calming, easy meditative practice that gets you over time to slowly evolve and create this feeling of joy and peace and love that is sustained throughout every single day of your life. And so that is what you're going to learn in the course, how to create. And then inside the membership, when you join, we're also going to have community chats. We're going to have a call once a month where we all meet on Zoom and we talk about our experiences. We can talk about our art. You can ask me questions specifically about your creative practice, your challenges, all of that good stuff. I'll be giving you art critiques and so much more in depth, going into detail about these topics of creating spiritual joy through discipline and love and gratitude, and more advice and daily practices, all of that, and getting in really deeper and combing through these topics and learning how to implement them is all going to be inside of the membership. And so it's ongoing because our lives are ever flowing and we're always evolving, and you guys are invited to evolve alongside me. So I hope to see you inside the membership. The link is down below if it is open already, and if it's not, add your email to the email list and I will email you as soon as it is, and we will talk very, very, very soon. All right, I love you guys so much. Bye.